we're looking for Jonathan and Dave and Ruthie.
I'm here.
Hello.
Okay. Oh, good. All right. And Paul Raftery can't make it, and Jerry's in Ireland, and Chris McLean is somewhere in the Caribbean without cell phone or internet. I'm not sure what he's doing out there. But,
Having a great time, hopefully.
I would think so, yeah. Unfortunately, Ruthie is at our house because our internet went down a week ago, and AT&T keeps promising to come fix it, but they have failed to honor their promises for several days now. But today for sure. So unfortunately, she can't be up here in the office with me, but let's just wait for Dave to come along. And in the meantime, did you get the instruction to be about what's going on with the Petit Mulsanne?
I don't recall exactly.
Okay, well, if you have it in front of you, you'll probably notice that it's cloudy and has a bunch of yeast in the bottom. It's the white one.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a high explosive. Yeah, so what you want to do is, see, I have a decanter here with a lid, so I just handed it off and then shook the crap out of it.
Sure.
It's quite fizzy.
Right. I will do that in beer.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
I can.
Okay, there I am.
How you doing?
I say there's a lot of packet dropping on my end. It kind of cuts in and out, but
okay.
Actually, now it's smooth. So.
All right. Well, let's see. We're waiting for Jonathan.
Okay.
But we're also recording the session, so anybody that can't make it, we'll just we'll email that out.
Great.
Did you get the message about Team?
Shake that.
Yeah, that. Okay.
I shook it for like 5 minutes, and I put it in the can. I've been swirling it and shaking it, and there's no more fizz in there.
Okay.
I mean, I refrigerated it upon arrival, so
perfect.
It's been in the fridge for a couple weeks.
Okay. The main lot is okay. Well, I'm putting it in a really fancy bottle. Let me show it to you. I guess we could wait until everybody's here, but trying to get that bottle made has been slowing things up. But the main lot is not re-fermenting yet. And so not to worry, but this will just give you an idea of what we've got up there.
Well, I gotta say, I've been in LA for a week, and I got back at 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday. So this meeting, it was on my calendar, but I was so tired I forgot to look at it. When you sent your reminder, I was like, oh yeah. I forgot about that.
I should have sent a reminder sooner on it. I apologize. The same thing may have happened to Jonathan. I don't know. Chris is holed up in some Caribbean island, and apparently has no internet connection. So they'll just have to look at the recording. And Jerry's in Ireland, and Paul's got something else with his kids, and so does Sandra. It's actually Sandra's kid's 12th birthday, and so they're off checking if they're out in the woods or something.
I don't know. It sounds like a good reason to drink wine.
Yes.
Yeah, well, of course, she knows the wine, but I try to point that out, but her son did not.
The birthday boy disagreed.
You just don't give him that much.
You know, he and his brother are probably kind of the third generation heirs apparent to this whole business. So I hope they decide to like it.
Yeah, you got to start them young.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just wait for Steve to come back and we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey, I'm back.
Okay. All right. I hope that went without incident.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to do them kind of in order of body and color and everything, finishing up with the two dessert wines. So we'll start with the rosé. This is the one wine that's already bottled, and we have a big sale coming up with this. So I've worked with each of you, except I haven't quite nailed it down with Jonathan, but everybody else has kind of got their dibs on the wines that they want to have cases of. You can adjust that today or anytime you want, but probably easier for you to figure it out in case of the wines. But this one is actually in the bottle. There's no accounting for it. Okay, so anyway, there's a difference between the wine you're tasting now and the one we bottled, which is that I put a tiny bit of acacia wood in it. This is this trick we picked up last year. And I'm talking about, well, like an acacia barrel equivalent would be 5 grams per liter. We put in, these are chips, we put in 0.2. So, like 2% of or I guess that's 4% of a new barrel. And it gave the wine, you can see this is a nice wine, but it would be nice if it was a little more aromatic and a little more lush. And that's what we got from the acacia wood. It's really neat.
It is pretty tight.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. So that really brought it out. This is a big challenge with rosé, particularly from the Santa Cruz Mountains. It just tends to be ridiculously reductive. And that's why in 2014 we never bottled it as a rosé at all, and it ended up turning into champagne, which was not a bad thing. But
I like it. It was good stuff.
Yeah, it came out okay, but I mean, 5 years, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
I think this is going to be a rosé that, while it's pretty nice now, will continue to improve for several years.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Clark, do you think that's going to retain the dryness and kind of be more kind of old world dry rosé as
Old world dry? Yeah, I like that description. One thing about pretty much all rosé is that it has this finish that's not like white wine. It's kind of a watermelon rind, appetizing that makes it really, really versatile.
Right. Well, and so my favorites and the reason I liked your last one was that it was a little more in the vein of more like a Provence kind of rosé.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this one is too. It's a little richer than last year. But believe me, that little touch of acacia wood makes all the difference. So
I noticed the color though is I mean it's almost like it's a lot lighter hue than last year. Is that right? Or?
No, actually the opposite is true. And you can't. Well, it's funny, when we bottled it, it got darker. When Grenache seized oxygen, Grenache has very goofy color.
Okay.
Like we lost all the color in the sparkling. There's no color at all. And this is the color now, which is actually more. Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Do I need to? It's pretty pink now. This is more like what you would expect.
Yeah.
And it just went from this color to that color simply by bottling it.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and this is relevant. this is relevant for the red also. That you know, just a little oxygen. You know, this is pretty light. It looks like a Pinot Noir, but I think by the time we get around to bottling it in 2 or 3 years, it's going to be darker. Let me go see if I can find some acid, and I'll show you how that works.
I think it was an audio effect, but I could swear that he had just said, "I'm going to go get some acid and I'll show you how it works."
That is, in fact, what he said. It may not be the kind of acid you thought.
Yeah, we know that Clark chooses his own journeys, but I'm not sure how.
Well, this is okay. Here's the thing you know is that anthocyanins, when they're monomeric, when they're young, are almost in they're like 80% invisible because the colored form is a very low pH form, and so you can look at them if you lower the pH down to around 2. So this is literally the electric Kool-Aid acid test. And so I'll take this rosé as a way to start, and then if I put, so this will let us preview the color that we will get later on as the wine ages and polymerizes, because the polymeric older form doesn't ionize. There you go.
Huh.
So that's the real color. How about that?
Fascinating.
Let's do it with the red, because that's the next wine we're going to taste. And we've been talking about this wine because the color isn't very great, but the character is really wonderful. And you may remember on Christmas time that we played around with putting a little Petit Verdot or Saint Laurent or something into it that would have more color. And we decided that it was kind of ruining its character. So
this is the base ranch, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's very thin.
Well, but get a load of this.
Huh.
You see, there's a lot more colors than you think. And that'll just come out as it ages. And frankly, I think this wine is so neat and so distinctive that I don't really care what its color is. It takes a little while to get it all, but you can see how it's just getting dark.
You know, so I noticed that this may be just maybe it's not true, but in my experience, it seems to me that the darker the pink, the rosé, the sweeter it is. At least here in, like, whenever I shop for rosé, sometimes I'll stock up and grab.
Oh no, it's the other way around. I mean, you're right, but the correlation there's I teach in my class that there are 2 kinds of rosé. There's serious rosé. Serious rosé, like Provence salt wines you're talking about, turns to a kind of an onion skin or salmon hue or coppery hue with time. You know, guys like you and I understand that, and it doesn't bother us. I actually have on the back label of my rosé, which is called Skinflint, it says serious dry rosé requires salmon hue with time. Get over it. But
Nice.
you can't say that to the Sutter Home White Zinfandel drinking crowd. They need it to be pink, and they think it's fresh. And so what they do, like what Sutter Home does, and they make 10 million cases. No, they strip all the color out with carbon.
Oh wow!
Because that's, it doesn't polymerize, and then they put red, and that makes it pink, and it'll stay pink forever.
Oh, wow, that's good to know.
So it's not that the darker, pinker wines are sweet. It's not that the pink causes the sweetness. It's the sweetness causes the pink. Just because they have to process wine to be attractive for the market.
So it's a marketing thing. Okay. Question. You started off by saying there were two types of rosé. I heard you say a serious rosé, but I didn't get the second name that you mentioned.
A silly rosé.
Silly rosé. Thank you. Every time you mentioned it broke up. So I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. So you got this whole thing about the carbon and the red wine.
Yeah. What was the thing that you said they added to make it pink?
Red wine. That's maybe 2 years old. So the color's already stabilized, and that makes it. So you have to do that if you're trying to sell White Zinfandel, because nobody will buy it if it's they think it's oxidized. And they have this mistaken idea that rosé needs to be fresh, so they want to see this really pink color. So it's two completely different markets. Okay, well, let's taste this Grenache.
Yeah.
So you may recall from Christmas that the tannins were a little coarse, and again, just like the rosé, the wines are really tight when they're young. So I think it's pretty well now in barrel, and we've got this character. Remember Dave, that tarweed?
I was about to say, I think I can pick it up in the nose still.
I bet you can.
I really like the nose. I think it's so aromatic, so sexy. I love it.
Well, most Grenaches are just kind of strawberries.
Yeah, this one's like
lollipop, and this has got so much more complexity.
Yeah, I love the slight herby notes on the nose.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's sort of like carob or acai berry.
Or just like when we're walking through, there's that sweet smell in the air. It was probably a lot like walking through the south of Provence in spring. Where you're like, you get that sweet smell, and you're like, what the hell is that? And we found out it was
the name of that smell in France is garrigue.
Oh, oui.
Garrigue. It's a combination of droughty herbs.
Well, it definitely has that. And I'm glad we looked around and looked at our feet. And it's kind of like the damn weed.
No, that was a big deal for me.
That was cool. Yeah. And it was a beautiful.
I've seen that tarweed in the San Antonio Valley in Monterey, and it's a little different up there. It makes the wine smell like gunpowder green tea.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. But it must just be something about, flower terroir or something that it has a slightly different earthy aroma. But I do think, I've been trying to redo my website and try to explain what WineSmith is really all about. And so I'm starting to tell people that we make forgeries and oddities. And
nice.
I think this is a pretty good forgery of our own wine, I think. So the tannins are beginning to soften, and the wine is very sound and pretty sexy, and I think we should just ignore it for another year. And I'd like to have it in the barrel until 14 runs out, and then we'll bottle.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Hey, Clark, maybe on a different call, but I keep forgetting about this because I managed to mention this to you a week ago. But remind me either at the end of the call or whenever we get off, maybe we can email. I got another gentleman, a potential investor, whose name's John Swenson, who used to talk to you, who makes wine here in Washington. He's extremely interested in joining this group.
Great.
So,
unfortunately, the Harvest Partners site, we tried to move it from one host to another, and it crashed. having it rebuilt. It's not too bad, but it's missing all the spreadsheets.
Uh-huh.
But you could put him on there, and then we'll have we do another conference like this. I'd like to do it very soon for whatever we want to do for 19, because I gotta get contracts going, and we need to know how many people we have.
Right. Well, and that's why I had to just throw it out there now, because it keeps escaping my mind. I have
by all means. I think Jonathan's got somebody too. You remember that guy that reviewed the wines? He took some 30 ml samples back with him from last year, and the guy tasted through them, and he made some really good notes, I thought, which I did circulate. So, but he might be interested too, and I'd love to get up 8 or 10 people.
Yeah, right. No, that seems like to be the sweet number there.
Yeah. Plus, if he's in your vicinity, then you guys can taste together, which would be pretty groovy.
Oh no, absolutely. And he's read your book 3 times, and he uses it as his Bible. In fact, he's actually had conversations with you about 3 or 4 years ago, so he remembers and uses your techniques to make wine.
Oh, good. Yes, the disease is spreading. I'm sort of the Ebola,
Oh, yeah, the Ebola of wine. Oh, wow.
Okay, so now by contrast, here we have the Saint Laurent, and I'm really pleased with this wine. It's got this wonderful deep purple color, and the Flash Détente really gave great extraction. And we got this nice blueberry aroma, which is a little brighter than the 15. That's the way I wanted it. We've pulled all the out. And the thing about this wine is that the tannins are so soft that the acidity does not cause astringency, which means it functions kind of like a Sancerre, almost like a weedy white wine. And I just think this is a perfect wine for sushi.
Wow, yeah. I'm not sure if I told you. Well, I told you this last year, but I took I think it was your 2 bottles of your 14 Saint Laurent with about 10 wine geeks, and we had Thai food, and it was perfect. Everybody was like, half the guys there had never heard of the grape, but it blew their socks off. What the hell is this? And it was the best wine that paired with any of them that they brought. So nice.
Neat. Yeah. Now for next year, I have to say though, we still have some of the 15, and then we've got a whole lot of this, and Casemates doesn't want to run it, and I don't know if I can get anybody else to run it. So what we really need to do, well, here's the other thing is that Ruthie is her job in July and coming to work for WineSmith.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned.
Yeah. So that means, I mean, these are 2 reasons why I have to get the other side, the non-direct-to-consumer side, up and running. Find some retailers that like this wine and can make it. Until I've kind of cracked that code, I'm a little leery about making another vintage.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of inclined to skip it in 19.
So are you worried that we might be sitting on it and it doesn't age well?
I'm not worried about it aging.
Okay.
I mean, the tannin is so great, I'll be fine. I just
putting this inventory.
On inventory, I need to get some boxes moving of this stuff, and the channels I've got aren't going to work.
So we're thinking of having a going into business sale.
Yeah, we will do that. July 15th, we'll set something up to all of you guys, but I don't know whether it's going to absorb the whole inventory. Okay, So now let's do the Tempranillo. I sure wish Jonathan was here because I want to know what he thinks of his idea, which you guys were so generous in supporting. So, this is, I think color it's just fine. You don't expect a real dark wine from Tempranillo, but this one's kind of medium colored. Well, let me ask what you guys get out of the nose here.
All right. All right, catch up here.
Yeah, still pouring.
I'm still chewing a cracker, so I need to neutralize the palate here. Ah, wow, that's an interesting nose. Holy crap.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Green olive?
Yeah, that's green. Yeah, that's totally.
What was that? Rioja? Is that what you said?
No, green olive.
Yeah.
Green.
Oh,
olive.
green olive. Oh, yeah.
Totally is what it is.
Maybe capers.
Ah,
Well, of course, Tempranillo, you always have cherries and blueberries and stuff like that. And there's also a fair amount of medium toast wood on this. So you get a kind of a chocolate and toffee, kind of a Heath bar.
Yeah, I can get that caramely thing going on a little bit. But what's in the mid palate? It's almost not tannic, but bitter.
That's oak tannin.
no.
What was that? Oak.
We call it parching nothing.
Parking what?
Parching nothing.
Parching nothing.
No, parching. Like dry.
Yeah.
But it's also barrels have clove. It's called eugenol, and it's the stuff, that orange stuff on the Q-tip that the dentist puts on your gums as a topical anesthetic.
Yes.
Before he hits you with a Novocaine.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's where the numbing, you can see how the arch is kind of a donut, and right in the middle, there's a dead spot. So that's how you can tell it's smoke.
Okay.
Well, this is good to know. I'll make a note that we need to micro-ox that one. I can smooth that out with low-dose micro-ox. And we need to do it because Tempranillos generally don't age all that well.
Right.
You kind of get them in the bottle and out in the marketplace.
Yeah,
And,
I heard the other day I purchased they call it it was a Rioja Reserve, but it was the 2014 Tempranillo, and it was drinking just perfect. But I can't imagine that it had much more life on it. So, but that was one of the traditional Rioja wines there from Spain. It was a grocery store one, but it was pretty good. This
Yeah,
has
it's getting close, a little bit of anise now. It's nice.
So is this going to be our barbecue wine? Is that what's going to happen here? I mean, it kind of seems like it, huh? Like this is going to go with some grilled meats and some, veggies and stuff, that kind of stuff. Because
yeah. And the Petit Monseigne will be just won the Indy 500 and spray it everywhere one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You lick it and it's still sweet.
I don't think I want to make sweet Petit Monseigne champagne.
Yeah.
Although it's an interesting idea. Anyway, I'm going to make a note for the Tempranillo. I think we got to look at several things. One is I can probably smooth that out with a little of the Humboldt Meritage.
Wow, that would make it special.
Meritage, not the Meritage, PV.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
yeah.
To keep it up, yeah.
Because it's got such oily tannins, and probably only take like 1 or 2%. So we can hold around with that.
So I noticed that this Tempranillo right now is at 12.5%.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Low for a Tempranillo. And that's why that mid palate thing kind of tweaked me out, because at first I thought it was heat, but it really wasn't.
No, it's certainly not raisining or field oxidation.
I like the mouthfeel, though. I really like the mouthfeel of this Tempranillo. For me, it's got the perfect amount of tannin, where I think, like I said, it's a barbecue wine, man. This is like, you want to barbecue something, in my mind.
Yeah, I like to go to Brazilian restaurants, and they've got this mixed grill thing they do, and this is great for that. But let me go get my graduated cylinder, and I'm just going to see what happens if I put a tiny bit of, and you guys could do it too with just, I'm going to try 1%. So
the Humboldt?
Of the Humboldt PV.
I'm just going to eyeball it.
See what happens. It's just a little bit.
So, Steve, I see that you're grappling with some paper towels there, too. I have like 6 of them around me because I keep dribbling all over the place.
Yeah, the first one I dribbled a bit, and I was like, I have a better solution for this.
Yeah, just wrap it around and pour, because let me tell you, I've got...
And then I'm going to sell this on eBay as a Pollock painting.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Limited edition. He did it at a restaurant. The waiter picked.
Well, I've always thought restaurants should have, condiments available, like, tartaric acid, and, right next to the salt and pepper.
So now we're starting a restaurant?
Yeah. Excuse me, but could you get me a leather shoe? Because I really want to sell it. I think
Okay, well,
but
I'm just going to do 1% here, and we'll see how that goes. Often, even 2% can be a lot and can overwhelm wine. I don't want to support character here, but
I may have actually poured a little more than 1%, and it definitely higher wine, and the mid palate thing is gone, like 0 gone. It's not there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I call those oily tannins.
It changed the nose quite a bit as well, actually.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah. And I want to say, and this is not a bad thing, it just reminds me, it took the character out of the nose, personally.
Well, that, PB does not play well with others. Okay, that's 1%. Maybe adds a little bit of plum. So, Dave, what you can do is take what you got there and dilute it down.
Dilute it down with the Tempranillo?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's I think I still need a little bit of oxygen to smooth out that parch, but it definitely helps.
Yeah, that's nice. I just poured just enough Tempranillo that brought that mid palate back, that astringentness with it. But,
Yeah.
And now it reminds me literally of a Spanish Tempranillo.
Yeah.
I mean, it has the same characteristics that I love in a Spanish Tempranillo.
Which is the whole idea.
Yeah, and really, the Tempranillo for me is it's not one of it's an everyday wine. I'll pick it up because like, oh look, the reserve is $5 off. I'll take 3-4 bottles. And anybody who I pour it for goes, oh, what is this? It's just your typical Tempranillo.
Yeah. My plan is to, we'll probably list it. I think we kind of have to list it at 40, but then we'll give big discounts.
Right. So you're looking at what, for like $150 a case kind of thing?
Maybe 160, something like that.
Yeah. Did you see on Casemates that French, that weird right bank French Bordeaux that went up there that was 60% Malbec and 40% Merlot?
Really?
That was about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago.
But it was Bordeaux, not a Cahors.
That was the Bordeaux. It was in fact.
That's a lot of Malbec for Bordeaux.
Absolutely. I thought it was kind of weird, but there it is. And I picked up a case for $149, and it's actually freaking awesome. But it only had 20 pieces, so it sold out in 4 hours.
20 cases? What are they doing putting something like on that? Let me get on if I don't have 100 cases.
It was a Friday night deal. It was the first premier old world wine from Chateau de Vieux-Piroir, 2014 Bordeaux. But it's like I said, Malbec. Maybe you can see that, but it's 60% Malbec and 40% Merlot. But it was awesome, and like I said, it sold out in 4 hours because it was a Friday night deal, one night only, right? And
Poirier is a pear grower.
Pear grower. Wow, doesn't taste like pears at all.
Okay, well that's real good. I think we've got a plan there.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to be exploring this. For one thing, if I'm trying to get on the other flash sites, I've got to make some wines that are a little more like in the wheelhouse of Wine Spies or something like that. And by the way, if any of you guys can find another site where there is a discussion group that brings in geeks, I mean, I know about Wine Berserkers, but you can't really sell wine there. So, another something like Casemates. I keep telling David he should just clone it. But anyway, I need to increase the audience.
So right now, Clark, besides Casemates, which are the other that you're referring to that you know about?
Well, I don't know about any of them. Well, I mean, I know about lots of flash sales, but
well, I know, but flash like that, okay.
I don't know any place where they'll even have a comment section. If I can't talk about my wines, I'm not going to sell anything.
Right. Well, I'll make some time to start sleuthing on a regular basis and report back if I hear anything or see anything.
Well, that'd be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
There ought to be at least 1 or 2 sites out there that are set up for us weirdos.
I mean, right now, Casemates, I need to stop buying stuff because it's fun. I mean, that's what the forum. So right now in my media room that keeps pretty cool in there, I ran out of room in my wine, fridge, and I ran out of room in my bedroom, so I'm actually storing 5 cases, and they're all splits from Casemates. So I have to drive up to Seattle, meet a bunch of people I don't know, and we're going to be fucking sharing Tanox and all kinds of weird shit. And it's just kind of what I do now, and my wife drives her nuts. But it's the fun Casemates, You meet cool people, you get in contact with them, you do meetups, and it's just fun.
Well, we did an analysis of the pain points for our customers. And storage was a big deal. So what we started doing, I don't know if I even told you this, but we store for free if you buy for as long as you want.
But yet, Clark, I just got burned on Invino because I've been buying off Invino for 5-6 years, and I had 4 or 5 cases stored there, and they just sent me an email 2 weeks ago saying, "Hey, we're moving the warehouse. We're shipping your wine. What's your updated address?" In the middle of summer,
What?
at 85 degrees. I said, "Wait." I said, "Do we not have any other options?" They said, "We need your updated address within 2 weeks, or we're going to ship it to the one we have on file," which is my address anyway. So I've got 5 cases of wine coming to me, no place to put it, and guess what? All the inventory that they had of the wine that I purchased, they lost 2 cases.
What?
And of the wine that made up those 2 cases, it was some of the steadier stuff. It was the Pissaras and like the Purats and like some Brunellos that I was careful to fucking curate because they were a good deal and the reviews were well. And now I'm like, what? I'm like, that's how you do business? I don't think I'm going to buy off Vino anymore because that pissed me off. And I didn't put 5 cases of wine, so my bathtub, I guess.
Well, I don't think the Sonoma Co-op is going to do that to you.
Well,
they're pretty solid.
Well, I thought that they had a pretty solid fake, storage facility as well, but I can't be the only one this happened to.
No.
Yeah. Wine self-storage on a container ship that just goes up and down the western coast.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we look into trying to expand that capability? But in the meantime, the pain points for the competitive red ocean, Safeway buyer are things like being confused and overwhelmed. Did you know that 86% of people who drink alcohol don't own a corkscrew and don't know how to use one?
Really? 80?
That's about right.
86%. So that's not us, right? We have pain points, but those aren't our pain points. One of them is just less alcohol and wines that you don't have to drink the whole bottle, in a setting. I don't think I've ever made anything that didn't get better for the first week. And so we're going to actually list on the site what the alcohol content categories are. 10. We got one wine that's 10 to 11. We got 3 wines that are 11 to 12, and about 6 wines that are 12 to 13, and like that. So we're trying to figure out a way to tell the whole story. And of course, the most important thing is, nothing we do is boring.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other thing, which I know is important to you, is what we call affordable profundity.
That's where Confucius doesn't charge you, right?
Well, despite my best efforts, I'm really not very famous. And, they're not beating down the doors to get, like that Meritage, for example. That's a steaming hot deal. I think Crucible does pretty well with First Growth. Anyway, I'm scripting you guys so that you can go out there and tell the whole story. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do the Norton.
Yes, let's do the Norton.
Yeah.
Is that a dance I don't know about? Are we...
I just think this thing is magnificent. It's Ruthie's favorite wine that I make. And I poured it for Karen McNeil, and she sort of went nuts.
So,
it's really nice.
From the bottle, does it look like crunch berries to you guys? Like Captain Crunch
berries? It's fruity, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know, Steve. Do you age your crunch berry? Because
1987, I've been working on them ever since. So yes.
Well, it is a U.S. grape, so I can see how that might, Crunchberry, Twinkies, not very French.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people compare this to Rhone wine, but boy, you gotta get it ripe, and we sure do that in Clarksburg. I don't know if y'all saw the video that Ruthie and I did together where we looked at this and the 17. The 17 is a little lighter, but it has some really interesting evolved characteristics in it. And so we decided to do a cross vintage swap at 15%. So we'll bring a little age here, and this will give a little richness to the other. In order to do that, we had to change Plattsburgh to Yolo County.
Oh yeah, I did read that. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? This has got some crazy color. Some insane
Don't
lead.
get it on your clothes, Dave.
Yeah.
The blue thing. But this is interesting. On the tongue. Remember Bubblicious grape bubblegum?
Sure.
Yeah.
Did this bring me back to my childhood? But not in a bad way. Not in a sweet, like, oh my god, sugar. But in that grapey kind of like richness that just coats your entire tongue.
It's purple. Yeah.
I can't see my teeth.
The other-
They feel purple.
Well, the other thing about it is, all these wines, when they go dry, you're reading fermentation with a hydrometer to look at the density, and alcohol is lighter than water. So actual dryness is minus 1.5 grams. So, but that's not true with Norton. With Norton, it goes dry at just about 0 bricks, which means that there's 1.5% of something unfermentable in there. I think it's polysaccharide, and I think that reason that it has this, even more than the Saint Laurent, it has this soft tan, and also lower alcohol. That's the alcohol content. So even though we picked it at 25.5, the alcohol is 13.3.
Huh.
So pretty fascinating. We pretty much control the entire Norton supply of the state of California.
From the sulfur, just last.
Yeah.
And last.
Yeah. So Clark, what one thing that I don't feel is obviously is
with the 17 helps it out too. It's even what you're looking
at this.
We're it's on the docket. We'll do it in the next week or two.
Oh, okay. I mean, I really like it, but it also for my palate, it also doesn't get the wow factor. Nice, I like it, but it's not like the Meritage wow factor where you're like, what the heck? Put my mouth. It's interesting, but I would love it to have like the finish.
Yeah, we think so too. It's kind of one-dimensional, but not to worry. Not to worry. A little bit.
Okay.
And nothing else. It's pretty fascinating.
Yes, absolutely.
There's about 500 Nortons in the Midwest, and the top seller is Stonehill. And Jim Held and I went out on the Platte and got a little bourbon into us, and he said, nothing to do with Norton. I'm never going to do it because I'm already selling everything I got, port and red wine. But the best thing to do with Norton is make sparkling.
Sparkling Norton.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually got one. When I married my first wife, my parents gave me Norton from New Jersey. It was done as a sparkling wine. It's one of the best sparkling wines I ever had.
Because it retains that big, heavy.
All that saccharide, or whatever. It's got a lot of.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to do it either. But California is a really good place to grow this grape. I don't think it's going to happen though. Okay, let's do the Alexander Valley Petit Verdot. That's a really good, and that's somewhat unusual. Like Norton, you just have to get this stuff right. And if you don't, you've got a lot of acidity and the wine is kind of stupid. This one, you know, is that rare, really good standalone feedback.
I just missed this one, so you guys are going to have to describe to me.
You didn't get it?
Uh-uh.
No. All right, we'll get you bottled.
Don't worry about it. I'll be up there in August.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's hook up. We'll go up to the winery and see everything.
Definitely, that'd be great.
Hey, so when are you headed there, Steve?
Okay, so I'm going to Mammoth here August 3rd. So I'm flying into LAX and going up to Mammoth for the weekend, and then up to NorCal for visits and etc. for a couple weeks, and then back down to LA, and then heading to Los Angeles, and then back.
Well, maybe we catch you on, you know, if you're up at Mammoth, it's not that far. I mean, the winery's in basically Placerville.
Oh, yeah.
Away from you should hook up, maybe on a Monday.
Hey, so when you guys map it out, throw me the date on back. I'm back from Italy in the 16th, but I'm from the tree.
Okay, so
Yeah, it'd be before that.
Okay, never mind.
But that's all right. I mean, if we can't all hook up, so be it. But you know, we can do them individually. And you know, maybe Paul would like to come along, and we can see. Chris is coming back sometime in August. Dave, you should get a hold of him.
Is he coming back for just a visit or for good? For visit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can't quite keep track of his schedule, but he told me. I think they said August. So in late August, the two of you could come down and we'll go do another.
Sure.
This is a vineyard that's pretty close to where I am, and might be worth visiting. And
pretty nice nose to it. It's a little trying to figure out what that smell is.
well, of course, you have a lot of phenolics in here, and they have a sort of a Band-Aid box smell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phenol.
like Lefroy.
No. Well, maybe sort of. It's not smoky,
Okay.
but it's, what would I say, shoe polish. Shoe polish, Band-Aid box.
Yeah. Band-Aid box nails right there for my nose, at least.
Well, no, except if you smell Band-Aids now, they don't have that smell. They used to.
Yeah, but the old school, but shoe polish, I get the shoe polish. Wow, that's neat. But the palate though, that's a pretty dry wine.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it
still,
also has in those, the very dark fruit, you know, somewhere between cassis and Greek olive.
yeah, I get that. I think
But I think it really pulls you in.
Yeah. It's like whenever you open up a big thing of Kalamata olives.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like smell, you know.
You bought that Woots Kalamata?
Yeah, I've got one in the backup fridge, and very hard to finish the first one though.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you the kind of rainbow spectrum of fruit descriptors that I use. So, and to me, they're like pitches. So very high pitched aromas like citrus, lime the highest, and then grapefruit and maybe orange, lemon, so forth. Then in the red fruit, the highest is strawberry, then raspberry, and then different kinds of cherry. So white cherry, and then maraschino cherry, and then Bing cherry, and then black cherry. Then plum, blueberry, cassis, and caramel. So that's those are kind of, yeah, there's a few others like Akai that are a little bit off that. And I left out cranberry.
Talking about the cherry, probably.
Cranberry, cherry, yeah.
What are you guys presenting?
I don't know what the hell that is. What is going on? This thing just popped up.
Yeah.
I guess I'm presenting, but I don't know what I'm presenting.
Uh-oh, I think the bug just hacked you.
Oh,
Who's telecom and hotmail.com?
I don't know.
The life roadmap.
We've been hijacked by a marketing campaign.
I don't look that way.
Not mine.
Whoa,
Is that
what's that?
YouTube? It's
Interesting.
They've got your invitation in the mail. They're clicking on it.
It's Jonathan.
Jonathan. Hopefully he has-
Says mail. Jonathan. He's coming in.
I think he's sharing his screen.
Oh, okay.
That Alexander Valley Petit Verdot really grew on me as I finished the tasting.
Well, you're right about the tannin, but that's why it's just not ready. It's going to be a couple of years.
Yeah. But it's not bad. It really grew on me, like I said.
The nose is really neat.
Yeah, I would say. If you're in a band, you can tell them olive. I am.
I definitely want to do this next year. One of the things I like about this wine is it has a sort of saltiness to it.
Yeah.
Finish.
That's what I was trying to get to with the crunch berries. Is the salinity something that is just sort of happening in California because of post wildfires, or?
Well, this is something that I call minerality, and I really like it. It reminds me of the kind of briny Italian roast coffee sort of thing.
Sure.
Nobody knows what minerality is, but I actually put together an international working group to try to figure out what it is. And we have about 6 different theories. I don't think it's a direct connection from the soil content, but most of my wines have this at one level or another, particularly the ones off organic soils and things like the Faux Chablis, where we've really worked on the organics.
So it's you.
In this case, I think I'd have to attribute it to the soil up there, but it's volcanic, I believe. But it'd be good to find out. It's certainly showing off this characteristic, which means, like the Santa Cruz Mountain wines have this too, and it flattens the aging trajectory. You make great wines this way, but you have to be really patient.
Well, he doesn't know that he's in the meeting.
Right. It's kind of weird. So his cell's not working, but he got your text, and he's telling you that now, but he doesn't know that he's on live. So actually,
I'm sending him a.
I can take a video recording of what he's doing. I can send it to you, and you can email.
Okay, do that.
An entire generation of computer scientists.
Email it right to him.
Jonathan, if you can hear us, we're watching everything you can do in your email. I hope that doesn't freak you out, but we're all on the call. And you took over this, so technically you're on the call, you just can't hear us.
And
And this message now, we're going to send this to your email. Okay, so we did that.
Well, this is a rather freakish thing. All right, well, what the heck. Yeah, I think that's about all there is to be said for the Alexander Valley. I'm very pleased with it, and we're going to have to wait it out. So then let's taste the humble Petit Verdot by comparison. I think it shows you a lot about the difference between these two vineyards. I gotta say, I think the Pichi vineyard is a, you know, mostly unappreciated crown jewel of California. There's something about what those guys are doing. They're really organic. And some about the place and the way they farm, they just end up with these wines of just astonishing density. And we only have one barrel of this. So I don't know what happens. We're going to put a little of it in the Meritage, and I'll make that decision down the road. But I don't want to overwhelm that wine. So we may end up with just a single barrel here that we bottle after a long time. It's just so different. I'm sorry?
Which one are we talking about now?
We're talking about the humble Petit Verdot.
Great. Thank you.
It's a completely different critter. It's just so big. And I don't think, you know, we've tried to use it like we just did with the Alexander Valley, with the Tempranillo. And you can't blend this with anything. It's even at 1%, it just takes over. But I think what we have here is just remarkable dense structure that will incorporate, you know, a lot of. This is a sulfite-free wine, so I think it'll accommodate a lot of microbial activity, and it'll just develop into something really wonderful. But it's going to take probably 5 years.
5 years, what, in barrels, or 5 years in, like, what do you mean?
Well, 5 years since we made it.
Just being aged and laid down.
It's one barrel. It's just going to sit there.
Okay.
We're not going to do anything to it but top.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay.
Any comments? What does one barrel turn into bottle wise?
23 cases.
Okay.
So that's, you know, not really a merchantable quantity, but I don't think we'll have any trouble.
We'll only sell it to Saudi princes and Russian oligarchs.
Hopefully by the time this wine is ready to go, I'll be famous and then we won't have any trouble.
There we go. Clark, I hate to tell you this, but you're already famous, so you're just going to have to come.
Well, it's not showing up in sales. I think, you know, I mean famous among, you know, rich morons.
Okay. Well, we'll work. Hey, so I just sent out the email. Why don't you take a peek at it and let me know if that came through.
Okay.
To Jonathan, just to give him an FYI.
Yeah.
Can you open up that video, okay? Because he's going to see it in a second. So, in fact, we're going to watch him open it up.
Oh, okay. I got a note from him. Just received your email. My cell is not working. I could not hear anything on the desktop. Just picked up the samples this afternoon.
Where is he located, Clark?
Virginia?
Well, he moves around a little bit between Virginia and New Hampshire.
Ah, yeah.
There's something that's finish with this humble Petit Verdot. It's almost like canned tomatoes, like it's a very, very long finish. And something else, like just when you take a sip and you off and you breathe in through your nose, like something.
Gee, canned tomatoes on the nose, man. You said that, and that's all I can smell now. Seriously.
Well, this thing is going to go through, you know, animal, vegetable, mineral. The way these ones evolve, the sulfite-free ones, is they start off really with plant aromas, you know,
Sure.
or and this is an example example. And then the next stage is when they go on Malia. And they start, bread comes in and all kinds of other microbial stuff. And they start to get sort of funky. And then there's dissipation of some of the structure. And what comes out, I call it the mineral or crystalline phase, where the wine is totally stable and sort of sheds its cocoon and emerges as a way out, like sometimes 3 years to that point. So I'm never worried about magically what's going on here in the stages. It's going to be funky.
You know what? This whole last year, I've been drinking some weird ass, strange, Monpa, very limited case production, funky wines, and they're so weird. Sometimes you can smell horse shit. I swear to God, in these things.
Oh yeah, no, I know. It's like a plus, $40 a pound unpasteurized cheese. It really does smell like dog shit, but for really good.
It's like the smell of your own dog, right? That's the thing.
Well, let's move to heritage.
As long as you're a dog person.
Yeah, I only go to Rome.
So the Meritage, to me, is really the best wine on the table.
Are we moving on to that?
I pulled out the bottle of 2014, and it's really quite magnificent. And this is just as good.
Yeah, for me, I'm still getting astringency like 20 seconds later.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Not as much as the Petit Verdot, of course.
Valgeder or
No, the
Humboldt?
the Humboldt.
Sure. What all was in this one?
Yeah.
It is principally Merlot. I think it's like 2 tons of Merlot and 1 ton of Cabernet Sauvignon, and then a smattering of Malbec and a smattering of Cab Franc. We have not put any Petit Verdot in it yet, but we probably will.
Wow.
Just spritz it on at the end.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I actually kind of like to do it when you guys are around.
Yeah, you have to have a companion bottle so you can just spritz it into each glass. Like
There you go. Or just a mist, right?
Well, what I'm thinking is, Jerry Rafferty is going to be in California from September 15th going out on the 22nd, I think. So we ought to all decide, on a date or maybe 2 where we can do a vineyard tour and go up to the winery and have dinner and all that stuff and make some blending decisions. And this would be one.
Oh, that'd be nice.
An okay time for us to decide just how much PV to put in this stuff. But if you want to horse around with it, just put a little tiny dribble in there and see what you think.
Sure.
I just did, and I thought it rounded out really nicely. Without taking over. But, it's just a few drops.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, just that tiny bit.
What, boys? That's going to be one hell of a wine.
Yeah.
And so your plan for I think our last conversations is to lay this down for 5 years?
Well, that's what we did with the 14. It's really something.
Yeah, no, I love it. I got a couple cases of that, and
No, you didn't. No, you're talking about the Lake County 13.
Oh, you're right, 13. Sorry, the last
I
one.
haven't bottled the Humboldt 14 yet.
Oh, how exciting! How would you compare the two?
There's no comparison.
Wow.
Yeah, the 13, I really like that wine. The thing I like about it is it's got some tobacco, so it really is Bordelais.
That's why I love it. Oh.
But it's not crucible, right? You know, it doesn't have that kind of density and complexity. It doesn't like instantly turn you into a wine drinker. You know, crucible has this thing. I like to pour it, you know, at parties. I'll pour it, and you can do this too. Just, you know, you have a party, and you know, one of your friends is chatting up some girl or something, and so they got an empty glass, and you put some crucible in it, and then, you know, and then they taste the wine, and then they do what we call the.
I think you have a whole marketing plan there, Clark.
Yeah. No, it's really fun to watch people go, oh, Jesus Christ, what is this?
I can see the catchphrase. Crucible, chicks digging.
No, it makes them forget all about the chick for a second, you know? So, I mean, it just has this quality of kind of dragging you into the glass and, you know, without really trying too hard. And that's the humble does too. It's just, and I think we're going to put it out there for 80 because it's not Napa, but and I don't know if it's really as good as Crucible, but it's damn close.
Okay.
And this one will be the same way.
Nice.
It just takes time to get that. All right, well, sharpen up your sweet tooth. Let's do the penal thing. Let me tell you about deli units. There was a Russian guy named Deli who in 1905 a formula where he said if you take you take the alcohol content 4.5 plus residual sugar in percent. That sum is the deli units. And if you have over 60, then have some commission permits. If you have over 80, you want to. So this one is about 76 deli units. It's basically 13% alcohol and 8% sugar.
Okay.
But if it's not quite stable, and so if you warm it, you get this. What you got? You already onto the port there, or what are you drinking?
I thought we were. I can spit it out.
Did you want?
Well, I wanted to do the Petit Mustang first.
Oops.
How dare you?
Now I got it. Wow. Thanks for catching that, Clark.
Yep.
Let me cleanse my palate now.
So, did you get my diatribe about deli units?
Yep.
So this was kind of on the edge, where we can hold it a little bit cold and it won't ferment at the winery, but you ship it around and it starts to go. The other thing is we put quite a bit, whole gram per liter of acacia wood in this. You know, first it was, we did that in the fermenter, and then we decided to chuck in another gram. So it will have more aromatics than this. And it'll also be a little sweeter because it's fermented, right? So you have a little more alcohol and a little less sugar than the bottled wine will have. I want to share, I want to show you what we're doing for the label. And I got to tell you, the Petit Mustang and the Annie Gorilla have been a nightmare to get through.
I love the ending gorilla conversations. Those are funny.
Yeah, they didn't actually about that part. But yeah, all these things about how we can't say it had brandy in it, then people would think it had like alcohol in it, and they're just nuts. But Timo down way, it's a lot more urban. Okay, so these are going to be 375s, and this label will be a decal on the bottle.
Okay.
It's sort of a silk screen.
Huh.
There we go.
And it's going to look great. And so again, we had to really, I have to call it California because it's a blend of Alexander Valley in 17 and Yolo County in 18. And it's also non-vintage. So what I decided to do here is to bottle like 2/3 of it every year and then keep the old blend and blend that into the 19. So we always have young and old wine together, and it's getting better every year. So here's let me blow up the language of the back label so you can see it. It's extraordinary aromatic grape likes hot regions where it sugars up to 31 bricks while maintaining acidities in excess of 10 grams per liter. This stuff came in at 31 bricks with a pH of 2.95.
Crazy.
I mean, that's just insane.
Upside down.
Yeah. I mean, normally, you know, your pH would be way up in the 4s at 31 bricks.
Yeah, and it's not up. Wow. So it's just, I mean, because really, the nose, but especially the mouthfeel, I just polished off a couple nights ago a bottle of Sauterne, and it just tastes very, 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 very similar.
Yeah, so that's what I say here.
Yeah.
In the south of France, it makes vin liquoreux, which is what you're talking about, special after-dinner wines that are not botrytis, but not vitritized, but might just as well be.
Yeah.
We combine, well, I'm actually going to change this so that it just says we combine new and old vintages to produce a luscious wine, both aged and fresh, with 8% residual sugar. Use it with chocolate mousse, creme brulee, or just by itself.
Yeah. Oh God, chocolate mousse, dark chocolate mousse. Ugh.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
awesome.
this wine will just simply fly.
Oh,
It's a good one for you guys to put your money on because this and the Annie Gorilla are going to be sold. It's all 75s, so it's going to be a 2 and 2. SRP of $25 and it's a split, and so they'll get a 4-pack, and we'll put it out there for somewhere around here price. And
so what? Or less?
Well, we haven't entirely worked it out, but it might be a little less in the case if you get 3 4-packs,
All right,
something like that. No, less than 20. I'm talking about half price. So maybe $12.50 a bottle.
Okay.
And I mean, maybe even a little less. So we should pretty much sell it out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's beautiful though. I think it's a great wine, and I think that this is also. I guess we need to put on our marketing hats, but this could also be one of those wine entry points for people. For example, I had 2 friends who were visiting from Kentucky. All they knew was they liked sweet white wine. So that's why I popped open that bottle of Sauterne, and as well as a bunch of Washington ice wine. And you know what? Those people had sweet dreams all night long. They loved it, and I sent them home with half a case because they thought it was the best thing they've ever discovered in their life. This is right along with that, and that's maybe a group of people we go after.
Well, I agree, and I mean, it's funny because it's one of the geekiest wines I make, and yet it also has very broad appeal. So,
Yes, it does.
I mean, it's almost impossible to not like.
Right. No, I agree. That's a very good descriptor, actually. In fact, you should have put it on the label there.
I think I did okay.
You did. Yeah.
So that's the deal on that one. So now we go to Any Gorilla and this ridiculous fight with TTB just to try to make some attempt to tell the truth. But we did get the label approved, and I'll bring it up for you. And Ruthie really helped out here because I was trying to say, so I was trying to explain the whole process, as you guys. But anyway, I like the idea of making the connection with Wine Diamonds. If you haven't watched that film, you really need
There you
to. So this is the text. Any gorilla can make wine in California. Ain't it the truth? This wine emulates old world traditions by blending failed wines from older vintages with some 2015 Petit Syrah. They had to take out all the particulars about what we actually did because according to them, it's not a port because it doesn't have enough alcohol, and we're not allowed to say that it's, you know, got brandy in it. So I just kind of took out all the actual information. This wine emulates old world traditions by blending, because you can't say port, right? But by blending failed wines from older vintages with some 2018 Petit Syrah juice, and magic happened. It wasn't hard, but Bacchus smiled on the idea. A classic accompaniment to Stilton cheese and grilled walnuts and celery is just another way of saying, hey, this is a port. Years will find uses and would also be forgiven to pair it with fine chocolate. So we have enough for 300 cases of this stuff, and my plan was to just bottle 100 cases or so, 2/3 of it as there's 375s for the for the Kate's Mates deal. David wants it that way, and the rest will go into a kind of a nice looking bottle, port type bottle. So I'm searching around for the right bottle to do the 375. I haven't found anything I really like yet.
Hey, did you say that you're going to choose a funky bottle for the Petit Manseng as well?
Well, it's going to be what I want. Look, let's go look at the let me find Chateau Yquem here. It doesn't matter. You can just Google up Chateau Yquem or Google up Jurançon. I want to have a classic, traditional-looking package with that same kind of cream-colored background.
Okay.
With just a little bit of red in it for warmth.
Okay.
And I just wanted to look the part of a classic Bordeaux, or really a Jurançon, or a Pécherin de Vic Beal. That's really, people have heard of Jurançon. Nobody's ever heard of Pécherin de Vic Beal, but it's an interesting appellation. Madiran, which is the Tannat area where my guru, Patrick Ducournau, got his start, is kind of inside of the Pyrenees, about 2 hours south of Bordeaux. But for some reason, they decided to superimpose on the same boundaries a Petit Manseng sweet wine tradition, very similar to Jurançon. And so those wines are called Pécherin de Vic Beal, and that's really what I'm making.
Okay.
But, Jurançon is pretty close to the same idea, and people have heard of it. So, Anyway, getting back to any gorilla, what do you guys think?
What are you going to do? So if you bottle 100 cases, what are you going to do with the other 200? Sit on it?
Yeah. We'll just keep bottling it as needed and, resupply.
Hmm.
We could send one to Elon Musk and put a bottle in space.
Huh? That'd be great.
We could do that. Any gorilla.
No, you should probably just do that for marketing only, but definitely do it.
Yeah.
I mean, send him a case. Well, he'll probably tweet about it, right?
That would be the only reason to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that guy.
This is absolutely my favorite kind of port. It's not raisiny, it's chocolatey.
Mm-hmm.
It's and sweet, well balanced, and it's wonderful. It is everything I want from port, and none of the things that I don't like in port.
That's how I feel too. Although I'm intrigued to see what happens, as we age it in the barrel.
Sure.
Yeah. So am I. I will echo what Steve is saying, but I also prefer. I mean, I like whenever a port has like that strange, like almost umami factor where you just like you want more. You're like, holy crap! I know it's after dinner. I had one glass and the dessert's gone and the cheese is gone, but fuck, I want another glass because it's so good. It just to me isn't quite there, and I don't know what will happen in the barrel.
Oh, that'll happen. Yeah. But by the way, in my 20s, I discovered that this kind of port and some nice cold sliced roast beef makes an excellent hangover cure.
Funny. Well, that could be on the recipe section of your website.
Yes.
It's not just for breakfast anymore.
We need a recipe section. That's a great suggestion.
That's right. Actually, that is a pretty good idea. And I was joking.
You see, waking up in the morning with some cold roast beef.
Right. Just have a section on your website that says hangover remedies, and then under the port category, this is what it says. You could use cold corned beef, roast beef, and or leftover New York that you didn't quite finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Well, okay. So we gotta start figuring out August. Steve, you and I can just do that. It looks like we'll be hooking up on our own, which is fine. And then Dave, get with Chris and see if we can make a three-way happen there. With maybe, and whoever else, like we certainly would want to hook up with the new crowd.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll reach out to him, Clark. I'll send you an email and CC. So he's a dentist, a retired dentist, but he's been making wine. I think he has like 4 or 5 vintages under his belt now.
Right.
He thinks you're a freaking god, so I think it'd be great.
That's the kind of partner we want.
I mean, he's perfect. He's perfect for this group. Because he's
it sounds like it. Well, everybody in this group is really smart.
Well, he is super mature. He just cares about every single tiny detail, and that when he told me, he's like, "Well, who are you working with, Dave?" I was like, "Well, I'm working with Clark Smith," and his jaw just dropped. He's like, "Are you shitting me? Like the Clark Smith? I have this book." And he apparently notated the heck out of it with his own, scribbles and stuff. So that's good.
Cool.
Hey guys, can you see my screen now?
Yep.
What do you think I can do with this particular ink blot painting?
Hey, look, mine's almost the same. Were you copying me? You weren't cheating, were you?
You're copying. I'm going to the press.
That's brilliant.
Well, I cheated.
All right.
actually bought towels with a print on it, so mine's a little more enhanced.
Ronnie's legal department is calling on mine too.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay. So maybe you don't record this part, Clark.
I'll push pause.
All right. Well, Steve, you know, I know you need to take a year off here, and that's fine. You're still part of the family, and
Thanks. I appreciate it. This has been
come
great.
along.
Yeah. What's your cutoff for 2019?
All right. Well, Steve, the thing is, we just like last year, we have to figure out. I guess you weren't really around when we kind of figured out what we were going to do. So the way it went, we had a conference, and you know, you're welcome to join us to just see the process. But we make decisions about what we're going to do based on how much money we have. And then it just turned out that you know, Jonathan wanted to do a Tempranillo, and we didn't have the money. So the three of them, Chris and Dave and Jonathan, all bought basically a third of a seat, and that gave us another $5,000, and that's how we were able to make the Tempranillo. So I don't know how the whole thing is going to sort out, but I mean, we're trying to expand, and the more people we have, the closer we can get. So if you want to look over our shoulder in that conference, that'd be fine. And if you still think there's some possibility that you or some of your friends or something could jump in, then that will help us thrive.
Yeah.
The other thing I mentioned to you, actually both of you, is I have this vertical Faux Chablis crucible tasting thing that I want to do, and I want to do one of those in Ohio, because we have a lot of you know, casemates and looters,
Yeah.
that live around you. And so what we need, if you want me to come there and do that, I basically need between 15 and 25 people that can shell out $200 for $1,000 worth of wine to taste it all together. And then I need a venue. Like, maybe what's worked well for us is to have a restaurant that has a private room and is willing to do it just for people, you know, buying their dinner there.
Yeah. So, a while I used to go to a place, general store called the Andersons, and became friends with the woman that was running the wine tasting there. And then that place closed down. They moved to the Refectory, which is the best restaurant in Ohio. And they do like I think a monthly sort of wine tasting thing, but it's always attached to the folks that are distributors, distributors in Ohio, because it's kind of the distributor in Ohio because of awful laws. But anyway, I'd be happy to get in touch with her and her in touch with you, because she does run those things, and maybe we can figure something out to work through them. But they always sell a pile of wine at these events. It's basically, but anyway, like, that would also be a way to get into the Ohio distributors if you don't already have Ohio distributors.
Well, let me talk a little bit about what's happening there. And you know, if you guys are interested, I just launched a LinkedIn group to talk about this, and it's called Wines That Matter. And it explains the whole situation, which is basically that the classic traditional distributor model is completely broken for small wineries. It won't work. So, I mean, it's fine for big wineries, but all us little guys, the problem is that the distributor takes 60%. It's like, I make a wine for $4. This is going to end up on the shelf for $20. I have to make it for $4, and then, you know, I have to go out and push it myself. So the admin costs and everything, and the sales and marketing costs you're lucky to end up with 75 cents out of that $20 bottle.
Sure.
Distributor marks it from 7 to 13, and the retailer marks it from 13 to 20. Or if you're a restaurant, they mark it from 13 to 80. So all the money is on the other side, and that just doesn't work. And even if it did, they're not going to show the wine. They don't, they only have 12 slots in the bag every week, 50 weeks. They're not going to be showing WineSmith Norton. They're going to be showing Ciderone Wines Infidel.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't work. What we need, and maybe you guys can help with this, is we need two things. One is a pass-through distributor. So somebody that's willing to take 15%, do nothing except run the invoice. And then, we have to go out and they don't have to buy the wine or anything. We'll ship it direct. In some states, they have to land it and deliver it, in which case we'd pay a little more, but not 60%. And then the other thing we need, and this is a place where you guys could definitely help, is just who might be interested in interesting wine. And it's probably about 1% of retailers, but that's okay. All I would need is like a dozen in Ohio that were hand sell retailers or sommeliers interested in novelty.
Yeah.
Sure. That's all I need.
Right.
Those two things. Where the geeks are and a way to get them the wine. And I've got a national campaign going on starting about 3 hours ago to solve that problem for 25,000 wineries.
Cool. Okay.
Starting with myself.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense. And I got some ideas, and I'll flesh them out and share them with you later.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe with the help of this other, very well connected winemaker / fan of yours, we may be able to like a vertical crucible tasting in Washington someday.
That'd be great.
But definitely, as far as retailers, I know 3 or 4 here that they are interested in the wacky stuff. That's why I was getting my wine, those weird, strange, French, funky wines that like 200, 300 case production stuff that they're getting, through, connections. That's what they carry. They love it. They think it's cool.
Well, if I was a retailer, that's what I'd be doing, because there's, you're not competing with Safeway.
Oh yeah, and these groups don't. These are small, standalone wine shops that curate their wines based on what their customers like. That's what they are. Yeah.
All right. Well, then we got to find a pass-through distributor in Washington. We'll come up and do the vertical tasting and invite some of these retailers and just start working that market. I'm trying to work out a 12-city paper route. So if this is August, this must be Seattle, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll try and do as much work as I can. So.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, but we got to start with the pass-through distributor. So maybe talk to some of these guys about who they might be able to do business with, and this is what the forum is for. Is somebody's going to come up with a distributor that does that.
So, Clark, you said that the forum is called Wines That Matter, and is this a?
It's a LinkedIn group.
It's a LinkedIn group. So I will. In Olympia, there was a gentleman who I forget his name, but apparently he's been a distributor for 30 plus years. I didn't know this because he has a storefront. I walked into the storefront, talked to the manager. He's like, "Look, this guy he is passionate about Bordeaux wines. I think I told you about this, specifically champagne. But he decided he loves them so much, he wanted a storefront to kind of showcase his favorites. So you walk in there, and it's like a walls of wine going 20 feet up. But, his favorites are showcased in little tiny areas. He doesn't he doesn't have his retail space in order to sell wines. He does it because he has a giant freaking warehouse where he moves like tons and tons of wines on a weekly basis out of Olympia by the airport. And I didn't even know about this guy. So that was the guy I need to reach out and say, hey, look, join this LinkedIn group. Tell me what you think. You know, we make really quality, awesome novelty wines. Maybe you're interested. And I think he might be.
Well, also, I mean, they're forgeries of French wines.
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
They're forgeries of French wine.
Also, a novel instead of novelty.
Yeah, I actually don't. I don't think like that Meritage. That's not a novelty. It's a classic wine. So is the Cab Franc. So is the Faux Chablis. So is Crucible. Norton is a novelty.
Okay, right.
People saying and the Saint Laurent are actually both, because they are classic. Saint Laurent is a classic Austrian wine, and it's Eurocentric for sure, balanced and low alcohol and all that stuff. Classic structure.
Clark, I just took a sip of this Eddie Gorilla again, and it's tasting a little bit gritty. Do you know what that is?
Did you say woody?
Gritty. It's feeling gritty, like sandy.
Yeah, I think that's true.
What's causing that? Like it's not.
Well, hiding underneath all that sugar is a Lodi Cabernet that had dry tannin. I never should have made it in the first place, but that was the inspiration for any Gorilla. And then it's basically got three components. I made a Meritage in 2006, and for some reason I didn't bottle one barrel. I think I might have just run out of glass or something, but it's just been sitting there and getting old and funky. And then I made this last year, or in 2017, I made this Lodi Cab that the guy picked way overripe, and has some field oxidation. And so, the idea was, let's get some sugar in there, make a port that will, where that dry tannin is actually a virtue in the wine. But you're right, it does lead to that. And that's not going to age out.
Okay.
All right, so what next?
Well, I think we're kind of done. I think we got a plan for each of these wines, and I've made some notes about things we got to do. And I got to tell you, I really appreciate all the support you guys are providing. And I'll try to convene that next meeting as soon as possible to make a plan for 2019. I guess the one last thing is, having tasted these wines, does either one of you want to adjust your case allocation?
I'll have to review that and get back to you.
Okay, sure.
Because I'm not sure if I put in for any of the Petit Maison, and that was the only, but then I have credits left, so maybe I'll jump on that.
Yeah, and I can just move it all around. Well, you've got spreadsheets. You can print it yourself, or I can do it with you.
I'll review our last review, and then get.
It would certainly be a mistake not to have some Petit Maison.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, if anything, I actually give most of my wine away, so I'll probably think of it in those terms and say, hey, look, take this home. Let me know what you like and what you think, and hopefully turn them on your wines.
Great.
Well, that actually would be a really good corporate gift.
Well, I just started 2 companies, and I'm not. So the corporation is me, and me gifting people the music.
No, I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay.
No. No, I'm not talking about you, but I think it, you know, for companies that are looking around for something unusual that everybody likes, a nice thing to put in everybody's stocking.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I like that.
Okay. How about you, Steve? Are you happy that you got?
I would like to also look at it again and get back to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Great.
that's smart. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Clark.
Yep.
And
You're welcome.
Great Saturday experience.
Oh no, great. I had a lot of fun. Steve, it was nice. I never met you in person, but it was nice to see you on in a little tiny thumbnail in the right hand corner.
Yes. Wonderful, yes. all of you have been. Thank you for chatting today.
And I have to say, you know, I've been doing this for 47 years, and this last year with you guys has been the most fun I've ever had.
Oh, I think there's a lot more fun to be had. So let's get to it, huh?
Great.
Okay.
All right.
All right. See you
All right,
in the
everybody.
20.
Enjoy the rest of your weekends, all.
Yeah.
And
Thanks. Bye.
adios.